This is one of the reasons I do not want her. One of the reasons I do not want her in my damn office. Be right back in a few minutes.
If you ain't talking money, then I don't want to talk.
Still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like Jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like Jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like Jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like Jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like Jack boys, catch them slipping and slam. Treat them like Jack boys.
Need for that to respond a little bit quicker. Hello, gang. We are all here. We-On-Loc Nation channel. As the world burns, part two. As the world burns, part two. We have a special guest coming up pretty soon. Pretty soon. I don't know what the hell that was. And we're going to be basically talking about the same things we've been talking about before, but only this time with a special twist. You see, the Trump administration, as we know it, is losing hella ground. We just have too many kiss ass people and kiss ass reporters. And I'm starting to sense some anger and anguish coming out of people lately. If you listen to all these podcasters, not pod, they are podcasters as well as content creators, and they do that, that tap into the phone thing, and you call into their live stream. I've been noticing some very, very venomous, vengeful type rhetoric, even some prejudice, some racial. But I've been sensing a lot of that lately. And it's because they know that they're losing. They just don't want to admit it. And it's always the same, back and forth go around. It's Biden's fault, it's Trump's fault, it's Biden's fault, Trump's fault, it's everybody's fault. But Biden is the lesser of two evils, believe it, even though he's still prejudiced. He is still the lesser of two evils. I, I don't know. I never, to me, he doesn't have 34 counts of Sorry about that. My computer ran out of gas. Let's continue without any interference, shall we? Anyway, so I'm listening to Dean Withers, I'm listening to Parker, I'm listening to some new people, and it's quite ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous how these people sound. Talking about the Trump supporters, it's mainly highly quite ridiculous. But I will say this, and I will save it for our guest that should be coming up pretty soon. Until then, until our guest arrives, I'm gonna be playing some real interesting stuff from our future future president, our Madam President, Jasmine Crockett herself.
I don't have a voice. I've not been set. But I wanted to do a Crockett confessional and talk to y'all about the trail. The vast majority of this confessional is
Okay, this thing is starting to really piss me off. Sorry about that. Uh, we're gonna get back on track. Don't worry.
of this confessional is actually dedicated to each and every one of you. So where do I want to begin? I think that I want to begin by talking about the fact that I understand why most people don't really care for either party. I've always understood why most people don't care for either party. I think that this race is definitely putting the exclamation point on it. Any of y'all that have followed me for some time know that I've never been kind of the establishment girly. I've always been the people girly, which frankly, when you're in elected office, it's what it's supposed to be about. And so I just wanted to kind of talk to you all about like distractions. Like I'm always talking about distractions and things that are at play and all that kind of stuff. And I just want y'all to be able to know when there's a whole game that's being played, right? So I can see it, but I want to make sure that y'all can spot it. And frankly, some of y'all don't even need this education because it's clear because y'all been in these internet streets fighting for your lives. So that's why I say the vast majority of this post is actually more so how much I really appreciate those of you that are like understanding what's happening. All right.
I want to preference by saying I don't know what is going on because it's too much. Well, correct. I do understand in trick back economic sense, if you will. In other words, I know when white folks are tricking me. I know when white folks are tricking me. I know when some certain black people are tricking me, especially when it came to these midterms, these elections. We all understand, right? We all understand that there are people who really don't like us. Us meaning melanated people. They do not like us as melanated people. Vaughn, you should come over here. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link, brother. You've been ducking me for quite some time, bro. But we do understand that there are certain people of that ain't of the diaspora or ain't of any other ilk other than they claim their own, and we know who these people are, Hispanic. We understand that. So when we call for justice, that's what you find, just us. I understand that completely. And this is only the basic part of it. I haven't gotten to the advanced part of it quite just yet. It's a slow burner. It's like a slow cooker. It's really a slow fucking cooker. And you know I love to cook. You know I love to fucking cook.
So here we go. I will just say that there's a lot of people saying things like, oh, she's not electable. Oh, don't send her money. Oh, do we really, like, I mean, like, are we seeing the coded language, right? They're doing this, and y'all know me. Y'all know I like receipts. Y'all know I'm a receipts queen, right? But there's a reason this is being done. Like, please tell me that y'all like get what's happening. I know some of y'all have popped off like real fast, like immediately, like recognizing what it is. You also notice that it's a whole team of people that ain't never done nothing for Texas politics, don't know nothing about Texas politics, and frankly, most of them are not Texans in the first place. So I get that people may think that I am super DC or super something else, but I'm Texas first, baby. The reason that you've not as much of me on national news, I still obviously do it when I do it because y'all know what it is. Like this is my job. Like I'm dealing with Jack Smith next week. I was obviously have us like so upset right now and wondering whether or not we have completely fallen apart or if like the cliff is like tomorrow. I'm dealing with those things every single day, and I make no excuses whatsoever. So that's exactly why I want to be clear that I work. Anybody that does not know who I am, I work. I'm not just a pretty face, and I'm not just a meme. I work. I work. I'll tell y'all why I've been so busy and up on. I actually went and did 17 events in 2 days, a total of actually 20 events in 3 days, in a total of 6 cities. One day, me and my team worked 23 hours. We started at 5:30 a.m. and we arrived at our last destination at 3:30 a.m. I just want y'all to know that I play no games. I understand that I have to be in DC, and then on the weekends, I'm in these streets, and I'm all over the Texas streets. And I'm talking to people, and I'm meeting them where they are, because to me, that's how you expand the electorate, not by getting DC papers and New York papers to put things out to basically just be like, oh, she's not electable, but actually by like showing up. Like that's how you get elected. You get elected because you actually show up, you talk to people, and you tell them why it is that you deserve the honor of serving them. It's how I've always like won my races, just to be clear. And I've won a couple of them at this point in time. So anyway, so let me tell you. So I'm working, which makes you electable. I actually have experience on the federal level, and the job is a federal job.
Yep.
Before I was ever elected, I practiced law,
for now,
which the job is to write laws. I also served on the state level, and frankly, we're in a constitutional crisis, and I did civil rights work, as civil rights are being violated left and right. So why would anybody suggest that I'm not electable? Okay. All right. So do we know what this is? Anybody? 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 Okay. I know y'all know what it is, right?
And if you won't call it, I will. It's about race. It is about race. But I'm getting real sick and tired of people denying the I'm, race has never deticipated. Nothing. Prejudiceness has never waned, and it never will. And if she don't get it through her head right now, full blast, that the reason why you lost ain't because just one white folk. It's because of the other side of it, and due to some black men who are very sexist, but I don't know why. But mostly it was the Hispanics. They want to feel safe. They want to feel warm. They want to feel special. They want to feel When push comes to shove, when they snatching you out of your homes, which I don't celebrate that type of stuff. But when ICE is snatching you out of your homes and separating you from your loved ones, you kind of know how it feels when it comes to our side of the aisle, when it comes to our ancestors getting used to having our brothers and sisters, family members getting separated. The slave master raping and pillaging, plundering. You wonder why we have those aunts and uncles who look kind of like you're getting just a little taste, and you have the nerve to shout out stupid shit. So Jasmine don't figure. Jasmine should know. As a black woman who has been through a lot, she should know. There ain't no excuse for it.
A little bit further, and trying to let y'all know like things that are at play. So there's been a lot of talk about a poll.
Hold on.
There's been a lot of polls.
Hold on. Her bodyguard's dead. What are you talking about? Her bodyguard's dead. He didn't get shot. He got shot up. Going to war with him. Yeah, it's just like that. Something similar to that black army guy who locked himself in his own basement. All it took was a drone, or it was a robot rather. All it took was a damn robot. But it took 4,000. It took like 400 police officers to kill one army. Jesus. With him, it's something similar. So he's dead. Is this her last year? Yes, it is. She is out of office in November by the end of November. So January, not January. Yep, January 2027 will be her last time being Congress. But hey, hopefully she gets another position.
Not a one was I trailing in. I just want to be clear. Not a one that was done by anybody. And so we call certain things sometimes outliers, but I want y'all to like understand like how all this is playing out at one time, and the fact that there are people that feel a way about my candidacy. Okay. So I am a data-driven person, and I study trends. I study numbers. I actually was a business major with an emphasis in finance who thought she was going to be an accountant. One thing I know is numbers and statistics. Okay. Just want to let y'all know. All right. So maybe for some people, they can't conceptualize or get their minds to go there, that in a majority minority state, it is very possible for someone like me, because frankly, this is just coming down to color, and y'all have made that clear. For someone like me who just happens to be black but is absolutely qualified, That is what it has come down to. But in a state where 61% of the state is people of color, it kind of makes sense that I actually would do well in a general election. Because guess who's not been voting? We are down in our black and brown votes. So also, what I'm sure y'all have seen is a lot of attacks to try to divide a natural coalition, which is black and brown, just being real. And frankly, we ended up in this mess because we allowed for division to take place. The final point that I'll make is that some things are bigger than race or sex. And frankly, in the state of Texas, we've already had 2 women governors. We've already had a woman senator. So at the end of the day, Texas has done this before, and they did it back in the day. So this isn't so abnormal. But what is abnormal is ICE running around these streets, kidnapping people, killing people. And frankly, a lot of people not being happy with the representation that they are seeing as it relates to what is supposed to look like opposition.
I just want to say real quick, and it was her, mind you, it was her sticking up for Hispanics. It was her defending Hispanics, just to remind you, just in case shit got lost. Okay? She's the one that was celebrating y'all. And of course, she gets a lot of flack for even talking about y'all. Even though she's a politician and she's for everybody, black, white, Hispanic, Mexican, Indian, Arab. That's what politicians do. Okay? You can't just, I don't know, and I just don't understand what black people think that certain ones, not all, what you think Jasmine should be doing for you. No, she wasn't paying attention to us. She wasn't paying attention to us. I think y'all are suffering from kick-ass syndrome because the white man's been kicking your ass for so long. I look. I think a lot of people are suffering from dementia. They're suffering from some type of memory loss because, quite frankly, if my memory serves me correctly, it was this woman that was sniffing out and calling out white supremacy like that. Has been through up and down in her region, in her state of Texas, Texas 30, Texas 31, Texas 33. She has been up and down the streets and talking to the youth, talking to young black people who I don't know if they were voters or not. I don't know if these people were voters or not. But they were damn sure interested in what Jasmine had to say. And those particular people that she had spoken to were under the ages of 18 and 20, 18 and 25. 18 and 25. And also promoting people within in other states or other districts in the state of Texas who are 35 years of age, who are black people. Not paying attention to us. That's an understatement. You just feel the need that she owes you something. She doesn't owe you shit. Get it from the mud normally. That's what you're supposed to do. Get up off your ass and work. And I guarantee you, once you get it out the mud, once you start developing your own banks, your own stores, your own everything, it'll feel so much normal to you. And you could come up with your own damn laws, and she can be a part of that. It's just that the Hispanics have gotten to her and they have complained to her, and she listened. We just expect her to just waltz on in this and get on one knee and say, "Please accept me." She ain't doing that shit. Y'all need to cut that bullshit out, bro. Y'all need to cut that bullshit out. She has tried everything. It's just that she came in. True, she came in late. True, she was um not too much grassrooty. Uh Tellerico was doing most of he was doing the work. He was putting in work, promoting, financing, all that other shit. It happens. Okay. Shit happens. She just came in late and she did what she could. And she did raise some capital. She did raise funding. She did raise some money. But apparently at the end of the day, she wasn't working. And we all know I ain't got to go into the reasons why she lost. Because we all know why she lost. So and it still pisses me off to this day.
What is clear is that I'm about that life. What is clear that I am most likely the only person on either side of the aisle that has to walk around with the amount of security that I have to walk around with. There is a reason I have to walk around with that much security. It is because, unfortunately, there is a target on my back. But one thing I am not going to do is sit down on my hands and say, oh, I am going to accept that somehow, regardless of all my qualifications, that I will somehow just end up being something or nothing more than my sex and my color. I show up for everybody. I have shown up in LA. I have shown up in Minneapolis. I have shown up in Chicago, as well as in DC, specifically as it relates to ICE.
You haven't showed up in days.
So I just want y'all to make sure that we don't repeat the same things of the past. We need to be as unified as possible. We need to shut down anybody who basically is trying to kind of have these racist undertones. And if somebody can't talk about the substance of the, at least provide you receipts in the form of numbers. We are meeting people where they are, whether it's a karaoke at the gay bar, whether it is in church on Sunday, as I've been hitting a lot of churches on Sunday, whether it is in rural Texas, because I went to Marshall, Beaumont, Texarkana, all yesterday, or whether it's on stage with some of the homies that have my back and want to make sure that people who typically are not necessarily engaged in politics are. Last night, I was on stage with...
Hello.
How are you? How
Hi.
are Sorry, forgive me. Hi, how are you?
No, that's fine.
I'm still trying to figure this
Oh, I'm
shit.
fine, We-On-Loc
I'm
Nation.
still trying to
Yeah.
figure this shit out. I'm still trying to figure this garbage ass shit out. How you
Yeah,
been?
I'm trying. I got restream. I'm still on StreamYard though. Okay, man. The reason you lost
Okay.
Jasmine is the reason you lost Jasmine, you were facing with the good old boys. You know, the good old boys is always running things. I'm sick of this good old boys club, you know. Every time a black woman wants to try to rub or something, here comes the good old boys just riding around with their white hats on horses trying to say, we don't want you in here. We don't want you in here. We gonna have it's always a man's world. That's what it is. It's always a man's world. And you know, we can't fight the system because Michelle Obama was right. No man would want to see a woman as president.
Why? Why is that?
I don't know. It's ego. It's always been like it's always every time we have presidents, always been men. Not one woman has tried to run. one woman tried, Kamala Harris tried, but it's always against us. You know what I'm saying? It's always something. It's I don't know what it is. Maybe because the man don't want to see a woman run for president, or she's just gonna, because they're gonna say she's hysterical. She can't handle it. She's probably on her period and all that other stuff. I say, man, you be on your you. Okay, man, you want to try being on your period? Fine. Then you suffer. You get cramps. Okay. So there. Now, as for this, as for these
Being,
MAGA
being on
dipsticks,
being on your cycle ain't got nothing to do. I mean, you in a war. You got to do what you got to do, I guess.
no, no, no,
No,
no.
no.
Let the man feel what we feel sometimes, having cramps and getting a menstrual cycle, getting pap smears. Okay? There.
I mean,
Some of these,
she these people know that she's a threat. That's
yeah,
all I.
they didn't know she's a threat, but sometimes they put a roadblock in her way. And she couldn't get through that roadblock. You know? You know?
Yeah,
I
because
don't
it
know
Ken,
what's,
the
huh?
old ass Ken Paxton. That's why old
Yeah.
ass Ken Paxton put
I'm
a
not from
phone call.
Texas. I'm from Jersey. We got our first female governor. We had Christy Whitman here as governor. So we have Mickey Sherrill as governor. Yeah, she went against one of Trump's minions. Okay, so she defeated one of Trump's minions. Okay, now
That's what I'm trying to
as
figure
for
out.
all
Why
these
is South
other,
Texas so damn big?
huh?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I figured out a little bit, but why is Texas is so
It's
racist?
it's a like I said, the good old boys club still riding around, just putting roadblocks in everybody's way. They saw her, they said, we can't have her as I said, we got to get some guy to beat her. And some guy did beat her. And, you know,
Yeah, school
it's just
teacher.
a darn shame.
Yeah, school teacher beat her.
Yep. Yep.
A
You know,
school teacher
you know,
versus a lawyer. That is
I would
sad.
love to see a black female president, but, it's always going to be a roadblock in someone's way, It always is. You can't beat the system, man. Someone can beat this system, I would be proud as heck, but I'll never see it in my lifetime. I'm sorry to say, you know, really is. And also, for some of Trump's dipsticks here, some of you so-called black conservatives still begging, still wanting to be the caregiver of masses' nuts. Okay, okay, that's all they want. They want to protect those nuts as they're gonna fight to have those nuts of his to the end. Okay, they will do anything to save his nuts. That's all. That's all that is, We-On-Loc Nation. They want to protect Trump's nuts because they want to still be his master. Master, I will do what you want. Master, I will lie for you. I will even steal for you, Master.
Gargle
You know?
gargle those nuts, huh?
Yeah, they want to guard those nuts until somebody else comes along. And JD Vance and all the I call them Trump's hoes. So Trump's hoes is going to start. They're going to one of these days. Trump's hoes is going to get thrown on the bus. And what you got to say now? And I also got to say to Fredo Green,
You got some
Fredo
conservatives who are
Green.
really, yeah, you got some.
Fredo Green, I don't believe anything you say. You went along with these MAGA dipsticks. So as far as I'm concerned, you're just another Fredo, okay? You know, Massa liked you, but Massa got rid of you because you was useless to him.
You're preferring to Wesley Hunt. You're preferring to Wesley Hunt. He's a
Who's Wesley?
dipshit. Wesley
Oh, I'm
Hunt,
talking
the
about Fredo
Republican.
Green,
Oh,
Marjorie
Fredo Green.
Taylor Green.
I don't know much. Oh, that Carter
Yep.
Fredo
Hey, Fredo
Green.
Green. You was with those MAGA dipsticks, and now you have a set now. I don't believe you. because you went along with Trump's. You went along with your
Well, obviously,
your
you don't
pimp
know.
there.
I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, yeah. So Fredo Green, uh, just be like what in The Godfather. He's gonna come to you. You broke my heart, Fredo Green. You broke my heart. Now all I gotta say is to these black conservatives, you're not the black conservatives that I knew from the '70s and the '80s on up. Y'all, it's just this you're just being masses minions, and that's all I gotta say about that, folks. And you know what? You deserve what you get. And look at now, you got high gas prices, and and your massa is starting a war that we should not be involved in. So what do you got to say, you black conservatives? Are you proud of your master now? Are you really proud of your master now?
I should clip
Okay,
this shit. I
they're
should
not
clip.
proud of his master. They
I
they,
should
they
clip
don't
it
if
and
they don't
say
think of
this.
the master, they're gonna start. He's gonna start throwing them under the bus, and I wouldn't care about either one of them.
I should clip this and save it. What you think about your massa now?
Yeah.
Conservative.
Yeah,
I
what
should
you think
clip
about
this.
your master now?
I should clip
Yeah,
this. You don't know.
yeah. But they still want to
Put
protect
it
his
under the shirt.
nuts until the end. Okay, black conservatives, you obey your master. Your master will always throw you under the bus. And how you gonna say, but you say, I don't care, master. You can do whatever you want to me, master. Okay? Okay, We-On-Loc Nation. I gotta go get out of here. I gotta go to sleep or something. But before I go, in the famous words of Captain Murchak of Lethal Weapon, I'm getting to open this shit. And you back to services. Be Bass's bitch. Bye.
Damn. Bye. Damn. 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 Not masses, bitch. Damn. Conservatives. Masses, bitch. Good. That's a good tagline. Good. That's a good tagline. I gotta promote that a little better. These conservatives or masses, but nah, that's too plain. Massa, conservative bitch. Well, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. But that was Tanya, ladies and gentlemen. She loves coming, putting in work, as always. As always. Let's continue.
It is very difficult to do this while I'm in session, facing a shutdown and facing a fight over the fact that they want to give ICE more money, and I'm just like, that's a no-go, right? It is very difficult to do that in this moment. There's a lot of people that are retiring because literally, like, this environment, and this is on both sides of the aisle, they're like, this environment ain't what it is. It may be a scary time to take a chance on anything other than what you know. Just saying. I also want to make sure I just touch on two other things. So this is a longer confessional than normal. When I was in Marshall, Texas, there was a student from Wiley College, and she about had me in tears. She told me that I am her hero. This young lady was crying and shaking. And, you know, I never really imagined that just me being me would have that type of impact on young people, young women of color. I just want to say that I'm grateful again that I even have this opportunity. Showing up matters because so many people feel like nobody sees them and nobody cares. And she said to me, she was like, I never thought I would meet you. And I don't know if it's because she's in Marshall. I don't know if it's because she believes that, you know, I'm only in DC, which I am definitely there a lot. But that type of stuff reinvigorates me and makes me decide that I got to go harder and harder just having these encounters. Another thing that I wanted to tell y'all about was a gentleman by the name of Marcus. So I get to Minneapolis because we did a hearing out there. Close to 30 House Democrats showed up to hear the stories of what's taking place in Minneapolis on the ground. And I was on the train in the airport and I was headed to the rental car company. And this gentleman looks and he goes, "Miss Crockett?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh my goodness, I'd love to take a picture." And I was like, "All right, cool. We'll get a picture when we get off the train." So then I said to him, "Where are you from? You from here?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually from here." He's from Minneapolis. He says, "But I live in Texas." And he said, "And me and my family, we can't wait to vote for you." So that was as soon as I got like off the plane. I met Marcus, who was super excited.
Hey, Bart.
A great man, seemingly, in the few moments that I was able to communicate with him. I then get to the hotel that I'm staying at, and the hotel manager came out to greet me. And so we were talking, and I always ask people where they're from. Like, I'm always just really curious, like, where are you from? And so she said, "Actually, Texas." And I was like, "Oh." And she was telling me that her parents live in Plano and that they were super excited to be able to vote for me. So I was like, man, this is crazy, because I'm like racking up the votes in Minneapolis, right? But I say that all to say that people are excited. And there are people that are going to want to try to keep us from being excited and enthusiastic for a different type of leadership. Again, I just want y'all to be focused and ignore the distractions and be able to know when there is a distraction that is seeping in. I did 3 churches in the Dallas County area, and then I did, which they were in Collin County, and I did 1 church in Houston today. The reason this is being done.
Hold on a second. How did it skip a whole? Hold on a second. It skipped a lot. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let's stop sharing the shit. As we wait for our guests to arrive and spill some coffee beans, we are still at a war. We are still losing casualties. Meanwhile, here on planet Wakanda, or should I say, Black America, we have, yeah. I'm waiting for, I'm waiting for a special guest to arrive. Because if this person doesn't arrive, then how I feel right now, my head is, I'm feeling a little, I don't want to claim anything. I don't want to claim nothing. Nada. I don't want to claim any type of sickness. Might be coming down with something. I don't know. Oh, this Joker. Anybody want to hear the Joker? Let's hear the fucking Joker. Wait a second. Hold on. Is that who I think that is? Hold on a second. Ah! One of my favorite villains. One of my favorite villains.
Only close to our enemies. Joining us now to discuss this and more is former Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. Thanks for coming on, Congresswoman. So we all know you were a longtime loyal supporter of President Trump, but you broke with him in part because you felt he was too focused on foreign affairs rather than the America First promises he made on the campaign trail. As we enter day 17 of the Iran war, do you believe the president's voters can trust him?
Well, just to be clear, the president broke with me over the Epstein files. So that always has to be said. He called me a traitor because I stood with women who were raped when they were 14 and 16. But I do completely disagree where the president has led the country. You know what? It makes absolutely no sense, Pamela, going into midterm elections. Let's remove Donald Trump out of it. Let's just put any president in there. Why would an American president lead his political party into the midterms, waging a full-scale major war, completely unprovoked on Iran, on behalf of Israel? And that's the way most Americans see it. They see this is for Israel, not for America. Why would an American president do that, which is forcing gas prices to hike right here going into spring break, where families are going to be driving out of town, going into summer, declaring and waging a major full-scale war that seems to have no end in sight, that is not de-escalating, it's escalating every single day. And it just doesn't make sense. And the American people did not vote for this. This is not what we campaigned for, Pamela. I went to, I can't even tell you, countless rallies all over the country for President Trump, campaigning for him and Republicans because we wanted to win. And we said on every single rally stage, no more foreign wars, no more regime change. It's time to put America first. And this is a complete betrayal of those campaign promises.
So is that what you're hearing on the ground in Georgia, where obviously there are a lot of Trump supporters where you are? Are you hearing from them that they believe President Trump is doing this on behalf of Israel? Bring us there.
It's actually very split, and it's split along generational lines. Many of the older Americans from the baby boomer generation that watch Fox News all day long very much believe the talking points on Fox News, and they've spent decades of their lives convinced that fighting these wars is the right thing to do. But the younger generations, I'm Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z are
No shit. You're Gen X?
are very much against this war. And so when you talk to people on the ground, that's how it comes across. It's very generational, and the younger generations are completely against it. We want world peace. We want good trade. We want a great economy. We want to lower inflation, lower the cost of housing, and younger generations want to be able to afford their American lives, and they don't want their taxpayer dollars shipped off to, and you can fill in any foreign country. We'll take Israel out of it. They don't want their money sent overseas. And you know what? They're right for saying this. This is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, 47 and spending millions of dollars to this insane man's campaign. I mean, I don't know if she wants sympathy or what, but she ain't getting no sympathy from me.
And it's 100% a betrayal to what MAGA was supposed to be when we voted in 2024, and it's turned into some perverted, deranged version of MAGA now that nobody wants. And a lot of people are just like, this doesn't make sense. And I'll go further, Pamela. We love our military, and God bless the men and women serving, and we love their families, and we do not want to see flag-draped coffins coming home in a war that does nothing for our own homeland. And then I want to add on something else. How insulting is it to Americans that the GOP can't even fund Homeland Security right now, our own government that protects our own homeland, while they're waging some war like 6,800 miles away in a country that none of us have ever been to, against a foreign people that none of us know, killing many of these people, even to the point of killing their children. It's just absolutely absurd.
I want to follow up with you on what you just said. You said, you have been on stages, you campaigned for President Trump, and part of that was no more foreign wars. Vice President Vance has lambasted past administrations for sending American troops into conflicts without a clear mission. And even President Trump said that Vance himself expressed some reservations about the Iran war at first. Do you think this war hurts Vice President Vance's chances of becoming President Trump's successor in 2020?
The longer it goes on, it definitely does hurt J.D. Vance, and that's someone that I campaigned for aggressively. I was the first member
Oh, really? You don't say.
of Congress to endorse him in the Senate, and I was one of the loudest voices in the room asking for him to be vice president, the vice presidential candidate. J.D. Vance and I are very aligned in our.
Yeah, y'all just a bunch of kiss asses. This is gonna fall square dead on y'all's shoulders. Yours as well, Mrs. Green, for pouring in so much money into a person who doesn't need it. But I digress.
Our policy beliefs in America First, as well as Tulsi Gabbard and others in the administration. Though we all see things very much the same way, but we're also the younger generation. And I can tell you, I won't speak for anyone, but there are people in the administration, high up in the administration, I know that don't support this. But the longer they stay silent, it hurts them. It definitely hurts them in the future.
I know you don't want to name names, but I mean, it raises the question whether you have spoken directly to the Vice President J.D. Vance and what your message is to those Republicans you've been speaking to who are in positions of power, who are not speaking publicly and staying silent in this moment.
Well, I'm not saying that I did speak with the vice president, and I'm not saying who I have spoken to or have not spoken to. I know where they're at on the issue, and I leave it up to them to come public with it. They know that their base, they know that the large majority of Americans, especially younger Americans, that's the future of America, are 1,000% against this. And, my parents are the baby boomer generation. There's so many good, peace-loving baby boomers that are against war, and God bless them for that. But the baby boomers in power, the ones clinging to power right now, it feels like they're literally wrecking the ship, that we're all on board. They're destroying our future. Like, get Social Security checks, we don't know. Are our children ever going to have any type of future like all of us did? It doesn't seem likely. And this war is going out of control. And, it's really insulting to watch America's position in the world, where the president just bullies and name calls and basically harasses foreign leaders all over the world and many of our allies, to the point now where he's calling them in to help open the strait so that these very important oil ships can get through. Many of them are not responding. And here Americans spent,
I wonder why. I wonder why they're not responding. What's your opinion on what's going on? It's a money grab for him. So he doesn't know anything about war. He doesn't know anything about war. He doesn't know anything about politics. He tries. I mean, he literally tries to lay his opinion on politics when, quite frankly, he doesn't know shit other than being a bad businessman. And I don't give a damn what Dame Dash says. I don't care what that man says. Anyone who tries to negotiate a deal and people look at him side eye because the deal don't even feel right, or they're being duped, or is I'll give you this much amount of money if you do this for me and do this for me. He tried giving Iceland, I think it was $100,000. He tried to give people from Iceland $100,000 just to join the U.S. How insane does that sound? And then there's people before he became president. There's people during his presidency that he owes and he's pissed off but they can't touch him because he has immunity status. So there is that. But this war right here, is just a money grab for him. It's a money grab for him, and he's doing what he's told. He ain't pulling this shit off. He ain't pulling this bullshit with Putin. He's not. And he definitely ain't pulling this with Kim Jong-un, which he has ran his mouth in the past with Kim Jong-un. And the next minute he on the flight to China and he's playing video games with this motherfucker. You know how Dennis Rodman did his shit, right? per person, and it was Greenland per person. How is he going to come up? First of all, how is he going to come up with the money? Through the tariffs, $100,000 per person, and I don't even know what the population. What is the population? What is the population of Greenland? I stated that all wrong, but let me see. The population in 2026. Population of Greenland. Approximately 55.6. So 55 points. So a lot of people. Not too many people. That's a fair amount. But we're talking about ice and snow and shit. I would never live in a city like that. Looks nice, but it's just too cold for me. How they always come up with the money. They always find money for what they want. And also they just added onto the US debt. We're about 60 trillion. I mean, everybody's dead. Everybody's in fucking debt. It's not just the US, but the US caused too many problems. I mean, if it would just drill a hole right in the middle of the Earth's core and dig out the oil that is already here, I mean, you're just being greedy, trying to snatch oil from China. We all know what that's about. Snatch oil from Venezuela. You want to take over New Mexico. You don't know what you're doing, and getting people hurt in the process. This is a person you do not let loose. You do not take control over it. And he's just getting people killed, right? And then gonna try to go against the Supreme Court. Try to wag his finger at the Supreme Court like they're a bunch of bitches. Well, they are a bunch of bitches, but hey. So if I give you power, I can take it away. I wish they would take his power away. Ladies and gentlemen, this wouldn't happen if the Supreme Court would have just not given him this much power. Well, grand, this is all on the Supreme Court. Thank you, Clarence.
Trillions of dollars in our tax dollars defending all of our allies with military bases on these countries' homelands, protecting them, especially Europe and NATO, but yet they are not quick to respond. But I would argue it's because of the way the president has been treating them. And this is pushing America into a very serious situation that we should not be in. We should not be losing our relationships with countries all over the world. We should not be getting further and further ingrained into a very violent and dangerous, serious war with Iran that has very serious future implications. And we should not be seeing our great military men and women coming home in flag-draped coffins. It needs to end.
I'm just wondering, given what you laid out, do you regret your past support for President Trump, campaigning for him and being so vocal about your support, given your concerns now?
Pamela, I meant everything I said on the campaign trail in 2024. The part that is disheartening to me is that it appears to not only myself but many others that President Trump did not mean it. And we are basing that on his actions and his decisions and the priorities that he has made important and first to him, which are 100% departure of what we campaigned on in 2024. So I would, to answer that, nothing has changed about me. I'm America first. I'm conservative. I have a voting record to prove it. But I cannot support this president when he completely turns his back on MAGA and what he sold to the American people for so many years in his campaign promises in 2024.
Yeah, okay. Now let's hear from the orange guy.
Thank you very much.
Let's hear from this.
Please, Susie. Wonderful group of very, very smart, talented patriots at this table. Our powerful military campaign to end the threats posed by the Iranian regime continued in full force over the past few days. They have been literally obliterated. The Air Force is gone. The Navy is gone. Many, many ships have been sunk. They're warfighting ships, but I guess they didn't know how to use them. And anti-aircraft is decimated, their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. Other than that, they're doing quite well. They've been a terror for 47 years, and now I guess the world, through the United States, with the help of Israel, is doing what should have been done many years ago. Should have been done many years ago. Since the beginning of the conflict, we've struck more than 7,000 targets across Iran, and these have been mostly commercial and military targets. We've achieved a 90% reduction in their ballistic missile launches and a 95% reduction in drone attacks. The missiles are trickling in now at very low levels because they don't have too many missiles left. We've also attacked the manufacturing plants, the places where they manufacture the missiles and the drones, and that's going on today. We just hit 3 of them today. It's getting very hard for them to manufacture. More than 100 Iranian naval vessels have been sunk or destroyed over the last week and a half. That has to be some kind of a record. Additional strikes continue to launch from all directions every single hour. And as you know, we attacked Karg Island and knocked it literally, destroyed everything on the island except for the area where the oil is. I call it the pipes. We left the pipes. We didn't want to do that, but we will do that. We can do that on 5 minutes' notice. It'll be over. But for purposes of someday rebuilding that country, I guess we did the right thing. But it may not stay that way. Just one simple word and the pipes will be gone too, but it'll take a long time to rebuild that. We are aggressively dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, and ability to rebuild its missiles and drone capability is getting down to close to zero. And we're hammering their capacity to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, with more than 30 mine-laying ships destroyed. We hit, to the best of our knowledge, all of their mine-laying ships. Now they can put them on other types of ships, I guess, but that's a big negative to them if they do it. It's a form of suicide. But we don't know that they have dropped any, but we've hit all 30 of their ships at sea. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. You know, we get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%, China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait. We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now, because of the fact that literally a single terrorist can put something in the water or shoot something or shoot a missile, a small missile, and it's fairly close range because it is a tight area, and which is one of the reasons they've always used that as a weapon. Iran has always used that as an economic weapon, and it's not going to be able to be used very long. Numerous countries have told me they're on the way. Some are very enthusiastic about it, and some aren't. Some are countries that we've helped for many, many years. We've protected them from horrible outside sources, and they weren't that enthusiastic. And the level of enthusiasm matters to me. We have some countries where we have 45,000 soldiers, great soldiers, protecting them from harm's way.
Do you believe the delusion of this guy? And he won't report on any of the casualties, I bet you.
And we have done a great job. And when we want to know, do you have any minesweepers? Well, would rather not get involved, sir. I said, for 40 years we're protecting you, and you don't want to get involved in something that is very minor, very few shots going to be taken because they don't have many shots left. But they said, we'd rather not get involved. I just want the fake news media and everybody else to remember that that was said, because I've been a big critic of all of the protecting of countries, because I know that we'll protect them, and if we ever needed help, they won't be there for us. I've just known that for a long period of time, just like I knew about the Strait, that it would be a weapon, which I predicted a long time ago. I predicted all of this stuff. You guys were very generous in that. I predicted all of it. I predicted Osama bin Laden would knock out the World Trade Center. I made that prediction a year before he did it. I said, you better get him. He's a bad guy. I watched him be interviewed one time, and I said, that's a bad guy. You better get him. 1 year
Did he actually make that prediction? Does anybody know?
Before, exactly. I wrote it in a book. You can even check about a year before the World Trade Center then came down. President Clinton actually had a shot at him, and he didn't take it. Unfortunately, I'm not blaming him for that, but he didn't take it. And he ended up knocking down the World Trade Center, but I predicted that too. I predicted a lot of things. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on
proclaims every day
the Strait for blood. I mean, these people literally need it. 95% of their oil comes out of the Strait, and they should be in here very happily helping us. And it's incredible. We have such great, we're number one in oil by double now. We drill, baby, drill. We're double any other nation, and it's going to be soon triple any other nation, and that doesn't include.
If anybody believes anything coming out of the mouth of this tyrant, of this goofball, please get out of my chat. Please. Just please. I beg you. Just go. Go. Unsubscribe. If you are the ones that truly believe this, the things that are coming out of his mouth, I don't want to hear anything from you.
Venezuela, who's been great. By the way, the relationship with Venezuela has been fantastic. Millions, literally millions of barrels of oil are being taken out, and it's been a great help, and it's been to their great benefit. The president has done a really good job. We get along with him really well, but we've taken out millions of barrels of oil and brought to Houston and other places for to the refineries.
Gas is
We have
$5,
refineries
sir.
set up specifically for that, and it's been a great relationship, and more and more is happening. It's a tremendous oil source, and we're getting we're stepping it up very rapidly. The big companies are going in, and they will actually numbers in a pretty short period of time, numbers that they've never been able to do. We'll be doing. There's a lot of oil under that land. We strongly encourage the other nations to get involved with us and get involved quickly and with great enthusiasm. I have that from a number of them, and I'd like to say their names, but frankly, I don't know if they would want me to or not, because maybe they don't want to be targeted. But I say, wouldn't matter if you're targeted or not, because this is a paper tiger that we're dealing with now. It wasn't a paper tiger 2 weeks ago. It's a paper tiger now. So now we're going to get down to the reason. We'll take a couple of questions in a moment, but we're going to get down to the reason we're here today. Actually, this was set up a long time ago. It's the Trump Kennedy Center. Over the past year, we've made incredible strides to restore the true purpose and prestige of this revered institution. Together, we're going to ensure it remains the finest performing arts facility of its kind anywhere in the world. And I don't know that it ever really reached that stage, but it will over a period of time. We're rebuilding it.
Yes, I won't be seeing you Canadians anytime soon.
It's been somewhat of a disaster, to be honest with you. It's been let go to hell. That's what they've done. They did a poor job. They spent money in the wrong places. They built some theaters underneath that nobody uses, little ones, tiny theaters that cost like $300 million. And the money was spent incorrectly, wrong.
What is he
We're
talking
dealing
about?
with some networks on the possibility of those little theaters. Nobody uses
Does
them. They
anybody
want
know
the big
what he's
halls.
talking about? Can anybody tell me?
The halls are going to be incredible. They're in bad shape, but when they're completed, the bones are potentially something that could be unbelievable. So I want to, before we begin, I want to thank Rick Grinnell. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. He's been unbelievable. He was the ambassador, as you know, to Germany. There was no happier woman in the world than Angela Merkel. Angela. She called me, "Thank you, sir, thank you." Although she liked Rick a lot, there was nobody happier that he was no longer going to be the ambassador to Germany. He was difficult for them. He was not your typical ambassador. He was the opposite. He would do what was best for the United States, not for Germany. And I want to tell you, he did a great job. So good that I put him in charge of a thing called intelligence. And something he didn't really want to do, but he did it, and he did it incredibly well. There were a lot of leakers. He found out the leakers. And when he didn't find out who the leaker was in a certain area, he fired everybody. And he went into one room where there was leaks coming out. These are long-term problems that these various places have had. And he said, "Who's the one that leaked this?" And they wouldn't admit it, so he fired the whole room. And he did a good job, I'll tell you. He was very good. And during this transition period, I asked Rick if he would run it, because we wanted to see. And if you remember when we first took it over, I didn't do it with enthusiasm. I did it because somebody had to do it. I had to turn it around because it was failing. It would have closed, and physically it would have almost fallen down. It was in very bad shape. The steel columns outside, as an example, were meant to be covered. You know, exposed steel is unusual to have in building. What I do best in life is build. I build buildings really well and under budget and ahead of schedule. That's what I do. Unlike the Fed, the Fed building, which is going to cost billions of dollars. It may never open. I mean, right now, we have a wonderful Kevin, a wonderful new head of the Fed coming in. I don't know if he'll ever be able to occupy this complex that was destroyed by Jerome too late. Well, I call him too late because he's always too late with interest. Should cut interest rates. He should cut them right now. They should have a special meeting. What's a better time to cut interest rates than now? A third grade student would know that. But that's a terrible thing. But what I do is I build great stuff. And what we're going to do is, right outside. In fact, if you look behind me, see the nice, look into a nice foundation. And you want to see a lot of work, very deep, very, very deep. For specifically, we have a magnificent ballroom being built because this is the biggest room, and it holds like 98 people for dinner. But behind me, you
suck the back of the nutsack. That's a foundation for you. What about that gold toilet? Y'all remember that gold toilet? Everything has to be painted gold. Everything has to be painted gold. Everything. Tore up the White House. I wonder how much that's going to cost. Because the next president is going to have to deal with that. He ain't paying for that. Sorry about that. I'm thirsty. I live in the desert. I live in the desert. Go figure. You was kissing Trump's butt every chance you got, Fredo. You still stuck on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Homegirl still stuck on Marjorie Taylor Greene. All right, questions. Questions, and I'll try my best to answer them the best way I can. Questions. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, question. He has a ballroom even. Has the ballroom even started yet? I don't know. That's a waste of. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. So I really don't know. Let's see. I can't even see that. I'll try my best to read. You're talking to somebody else. But anybody got any questions for me? Me personally, I'm over it. I'm over his, as far as his nonsensical ass. I don't. No one nowadays. No one cares too much of what Trump has to say because it's a delusion, and it's a distraction from the Epstein files. I did a little bit of research myself and was like, what can I find? And found some pretty interesting stuff. And of course, everybody knows that Epstein Island is not just in one location. It's in several locations. It's just these people are sick. These people are fucking sick. And of course, there were these bags full of blood in them. And I'm like, what the hell? You got bags full of blood and bags full of, that's just filthy. And the underground and the underground tunnels were a mess. It was just filthy, full of filth. Hey, Montrese, you were right, dog. I should have listened to you, man. I should have listened to you. One more till What'd you say? To the right? You said to the right? Shit. I can't say what I want to say because YouTube is super sensitive. So I'll keep what I'm thinking to myself. So thank you for joining the live stream tonight. I'm streaming in 2, possibly 3 different locations. So 3 different apps. So apparently, when you look in the Epstein files, of course, you see a whole bunch of pictures and a whole bunch of stuff and a lot of names being redacted for obvious stupid reasons. But it's like, what do you have to hide? And then, of course, everybody know. I don't know if people know, and if you don't know, I'll just tell you that Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's name is on this list, allegedly. Patty fucking LaBelle. I'm still stuck on that. Why, Patty? Why, Patty? Why are you on the Epstein list? Why? Why? Naomi Campbell. Why? We all, Jamie Foxx is on this list. It was one of the reasons why we haven't seen him in the past, a year and a half. It's like, wow. But I'm not worried about these damn celebrities. Most of them were just fumes. It's just smoke screen. The real hyenas is Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and others. And the discussion or the look when I looked at the files, right? I looked specifically and it's you just gotta scroll through it. What I saw was very, very disturbing. Very disturbing indeed. Like I said, it was bags full of blood, like torture chambers, like little children's bookshelves, and looked like locker rooms almost, but it's just totally disgusting. And not TikTok, but IG has been really getting on these, right? Has been really getting on. Let me see if I could find, if anybody wants to have a discussion, they know where to find me. I'm on the live stream. If you want to have a discussion with your boy, We-On-Loc, let me put the link in the description box. Boom, there it is. There it is. Let me move this out the way. There you go. Not sometimes healthy people rent each other's planes, houses, etc. So her being on the Epstein file might be innocent. Fuck that. Fuck that. Ule Uushe Adewa will not be in rotation until I find out why. And if you have anything to do with any of what Maxwell's guilty of, your shit will not be in rotation. I'm sorry. No one is innocent. No one is innocent, from me at least. No one is innocent. So continuing on, of course, there were dungeons, bags of blood, and you know, tape recordings everywhere. And let me see. Oh, yeah. Let me see if I could find some specifics. And you can tell me if, oh, Lord, you can tell me if these are accurate or inaccurate. You can tell me pretty much anything. You can tell me if it's accurate or inaccurate. Let me see. I gotta find what I'm looking for. Let me see when I find what I'm looking for. Aha! Okay, cool. Let me see if I can get it's right here. Share screen. Let me share my screen. Can I share my damn screen? Oh, sorry.
Family that I know of. For example, Hillary Clinton took money from the Russians to sell American uranium to Russia. She took money from the Saudi Arabians to sell Syria and Yemen to Saudi Arabia and to justify ISIS and protect ISIS. Hillary Clinton is probably the single most corrupt politician in U.S. history since Lyndon Baines Johnson. And as Secretary of State, money would come into the Clinton Foundation and U.S. support would go out. And by the way, the reason we have 1,000 military bases is not for military power. They're lily pads for smuggling. That is how CIA smuggles gold, guns, drugs, cash, and small children for the elites in the United States. War is a profit center, not just for oil. War produces body parts. It produces orphans. It produces all kinds of human goods that can then be trafficked. And the banks rely on war and drugs for their cash flow, for their liquidity.
Yes, next.
The real enemy of the finance system was Bill Clinton. And if you ask me what and who caused the financial crisis, I would tell you it was Bill Clinton. David Rockefeller and I got along very well. He formed something called the Trilateral Commission. People said it was something, the Illuminati, people that ran the world. So he said to me, would you like to be on the Trilateral Commission? I said, great.
You're being rabbinical. This is like...
I shaved my beard off. I used to be rabbinical.
No, is your money dirty money?
No, it's not.
Why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it.
You earned it advising the worst people in the world. Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror. The real enemy of the finance system was Bill Clinton. And if you ask me what and who caused the
I was 14 years old. I was 16 years old. I was 16. 17. 14 years old. This is me. This was me. This is me. When I met Jeffrey Epstein. This is me. When I met Jeffrey Epstein. There are about 1,000 of us.
This isn't fake.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness. I was 14 years old. I was 16.
This is not fake. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not fake. This shit is for real. When people dox and they dig, when you give them something, they're going to. If you don't give them something, they're going to find it. If you don't give them something, they're going to try their best to find it. And oh, don't think I didn't forget about you, Mrs. Ellie. Do not think I did not forget what I was going to say to you. As a matter of fact, I will say it right now. You don't give yourself too much credit because you know how wonderful you are. You know how brilliant you are. You just don't like to say it out loud. So I'm going to say it out loud for you. You are beautiful. You are brilliant. You are a beautiful young African-American woman. And don't you forget that. There, I fucking said it. Sue me. Anyway. According to you, any celebrity that knows has been around other celebrities that has ever committed any horrific crime. It means the original celebrity is also accountable. That's nonsensical. Whatever that means. I just see what I see, and I see multiple celebrities being involved in all of these things. And then, of course, when I go to Patti LaBelle, I know it's not like I'm not joking. I'm just being real with it. It's just like, why are you there? I mean, we question Diddy all day long, but we nearly don't ask any questions about what specific white folks that we need to just start. You know how the I forgot what they were called, but these people, how they would behead these other people. I think I don't know what they're called specifically, but if you did a horrendous crime, your head would literally be impaled on a stick. I think this is something that we need to do as Americans. Is if you do any type of heinous crime, such as, kidnapping children, raping children, eating children, your head should just be up there. Fuck electrocutions. Fuck the lethal injections. Your head should literally just for the whole world to see, or literally just put you upside down and just slow cook you in boiling acid or something, just for you messing with children. Because that's all you do when you go to certain restaurants and you have burgers or have steak or have chicken. Do you think that's actual chicken that you're eating? How would you like for your boyfriend or your husband to take you to a place called cannabis? Take you to a place called cannabis. How would you feel about that? Very, very, very strange. But you're not convinced. You're not convinced. You're not convinced of this shit. So, hey, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Let's continue. Let me see what we got here. I guess.
These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs and get the very best. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder, as well as incidental murder.
War, I tell you, I'm gonna stop sharing. War, I tell you, is very, very profitable. Did you know that? What do you think that they're profiting? What do you think that they're smuggling? Any and everything from drugs to cocaine, heroin, opium, children, organs, anything that makes money, and it's all going through war. So when I say Trump, this was a business move. This was a damn business move, and a very slick one at that. So if you think it, so when you're surprised that a person like myself doesn't like voting for in either party, then you wonder why. But here's the thing: there's always that shining light, that shining star, and I think Jasmine Crockett is that shining star because she will literally tell you, "Oh," she will literally tell you, she is not. She hears both sides of the fence. She hears both sides, and she's like, she doesn't want to necessarily be a Democrat, and she definitely doesn't want to be a Republican. But what do you choose? You can't be independent. So what do you choose? I'm not. Now, I will say this, Barb. Have you ever met or listened to a source that was a piece of shit but wasn't wrong in his statement? I mean, he is literally a piece of shit, but what he's stating is facts. You ever met? Have you ever ran across one of those? Ah, all right, all right. I don't know what happened to the rest, but I think that's mostly what I need. Let's see here. Where's this chat? Maybe I put them in here. I don't even know why I put half of my stuff. For all you Obama lovers, for you, for you effing with me the entire time, this one's for you. Wait. Pizzagate? Pizzagate. Was I asleep? What the fuck is Pizzagate? Oh, Lord. Okay. I guess I'm not gonna like this either. I'm not gonna like this one. Why? Why, Strat? Why? 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 We're just flipping through things. We're just flipping through things and searching through things. It is what we know, what we don't know. For those who just hiding under a rock, it's like you need to listen carefully to some of the stories that your ex-military family or friends, somebody who was in the military, somebody who's in the service, secret service, whatever. You need to listen to these people, and you need to listen to what's going on. There was a when there was this interviewer that was at P Diddy's home somewhere in the boonies, I guess, and they was having freak offs or whatever. And I guess he was trying to use the bathroom or whatever, whatnot. He was looking through and trying to find a restroom. What he found was French Montana getting blown. I ain't worried about nothing. Ouch! Nigga ain't worried about nothing. Ouch! And he closed that door quick to the They're all involved. They are all in it. All of them are in it. Just some parties are better than others. Some things are better than others to them. While we sit here and we promote and we promote and we promote and we buy and we sell and we don't sell. We just buy and buy and buy and buy these people's albums. We go see their movies. Michael B. Jordan won the Emmy Awards yesterday. Shouts out to Michael B. Jordan. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to look at him side eye. I'm going to have to look at that man side eye. Why do I have to look at the Michael B. Jordan side eye? Because either, mind you, this is Hollywood, either they have already have gotten to him, but because of Creed, the success of Creed and the success of Sinners and the success of every other movie that went box office, right? Do you not think these important people are actually watching him right now? Don't be surprised if that nigga ends up in a dress, because he is a good actor. He is a good actor. Shouts out to Ryan Coogler. Shouts out to Michael B. Jordan. Shouts out to Old Del Rey, whatever his name is. They all deserved it. They all deserved it. Sinners was a good ass movie. A good ass movie. Let me see. Like that. Don't get me, Obama lovers. Don't get me. I'm just saying what's real. What the fuck is wrong with what is wrong with Eddie? What is wrong with Eddie? Good Lord Jesus, what is wrong with you, Eddie? You remember Roseanne? Is it Roseanne Arnold? I think it's Roseanne Arnold. I'm not sure. Check it out. Mm-mm-mm. Now you got to be. Yeah, well, she ain't doing nothing now. She ain't doing nothing nowadays, but just sitting there and just looking old. You know you're in desperation when you calling out the Illuminati the way that you do. And speaking of Illuminati, you fire a missile in Nigeria. Then you make peace with Nigeria just to get at Burkina Faso. And Burkina Faso is isolated for right now because of the wonderful things that they're doing in Burkina Faso. And shouts out to the prince, Abraham Traore. Shouts out to the prince. Now, just imagine. I want you to open up your eyes and ears. I want you to open up your eyes and fucking ears. What would happen if Abraham Traore were to meet with Jasmine Crockett? Oh, that wouldn't. Ooh, my. If Abraham Traore and Jasmine Crockett were to tie up and meet up, how special that shit would be. You can't even do nothing else because I think the flights are canceled. You can't fly through there anyway. But just imagine if they were to meet up. How powerful that would be. I'm just saying. I'm just stating the fact. I'm just stating the fact of how wonderful that shit would be. Because of the type of politician that she is, she's not just any ordinary politician now. I said this for weeks. I said this shit for weeks. She's not some ordinary politician.
Don't know nothing about Texas politics, and frankly, most of them are not Texans in the first place. So I get that people may think that I am super DC or super something else, but I'm Texas first, baby. And the reason that you've not seen as much of me on national news, I still obviously do it when I gotta do it because y'all know what it is. Like, this is my job. Like, I'm in DC. Like, I'll be dealing with Jack Smith next week. I was in Minneapolis, but I want to get to that a little bit later. So obviously a lot of the things that are going on that have us like so upset right now and wondering whether or not we have completely fallen apart or if like the cliff is like tomorrow. I'm dealing with those things every single day and I make no excuses whatsoever. So that's exactly why I want to be clear that I work. For anybody that does not know who I am, I work. I'm not just a pretty face and I'm not just a meme, nor a viral moment. I work. And so I'll tell y'all why I've been so busy and I haven't been able to jump on. I actually went and did 17 events in 2 days, a total of actually 20 events in 3 days, in a total of 6 cities. One day, me and my team worked 23 hours. We started at 5:30 a.m. and we arrived at our last destination at 3:30 a.m. I just want y'all to know that I play no games. I understand that I have to be in DC, and then on the weekends, I'm in these streets, and I'm all over the Texas streets. And I'm talking to people, and I'm meeting them where they are. Because to me, that's how you expand the electorate. Not by getting DC papers and New York papers to put things out to basically just be like, oh, she's not electable, but actually by like showing up. Like, that's how you get elected. You get elected because you actually show up, you talk to people, and you tell them why it is that you deserve the honor of serving them. It's how I've always like won my races. Just to be clear. And I've won a couple of them at this point in time. So anyway, so let me tell you. So I'm working, which makes you electable. I actually have experience on the federal level, and the job is a federal job. Before I was ever elected, I practiced law, which the job is to write laws. I also served on the state level, and frankly, we're in a constitutional crisis, and I did civil rights work as civil rights are being violated left and right. So why would anybody suggest that I'm not electable? Okay. All right. So do we know what this is? Anybody? 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 Okay. I know y'all know what it is, right? I'll go a little bit further. In trying to let y'all know, like, things that are at play. So there's been a lot of talk about a poll. There's been a lot of polls. Not a one was I trailing in. I just want to be clear. Not a one that was done by anybody. And so we call certain things sometimes outliers, but I want y'all to like understand like how all this is playing out at one time, and the fact that there are people that feel a way about my candidacy. Okay. So I am a data-driven person, and I study trends. I study numbers. I actually was a business major with an emphasis in finance who thought she was going to be an accountant. One thing I know is numbers and statistics. Okay. Just want to let y'all know. All right. So maybe for some people, they can't conceptualize or get their minds to go there, that in a majority minority state, it is very possible for someone like me, because frankly, this is just coming down to color, and y'all have made that clear. For someone like me who just happens to be Black but is absolutely qualified, that is what it has come down to. But in a state where 61% of the state is people of color, it kind of makes sense that I actually would do well in a general election. Because guess who's not been voting? We are down in our Black and brown votes. So also, what I'm sure y'all have seen is a lot of attacks to try to divide a natural coalition, which is Black and brown. Just being real. And frankly, we ended up in this mess because we allowed for division to take place. The final point that I'll make is that some things are bigger than race or sex. And frankly, in the state of Texas, we've already had 2 women governors. We've already had a woman senator. So at the end of the day, Texas has done this before, and they did it back in the day. So this isn't so abnormal. But what is abnormal is ICE running around these streets, kidnapping people, killing people. And frankly, a lot of people not being happy with the representation that they are seeing as it relates to what is supposed to look like opposition. What is clear is that I'm about that life. What is clear that I am most likely the only person on either side of the aisle that has to walk around with the amount of security that I have to walk around with. There is a reason I have to walk around with that much security. It is because, unfortunately, there is a target on my back. But one thing I am not going to do is sit down on my hands and say, oh, I am going to accept that somehow, regardless of all my qualifications, that I will somehow just end up being something or nothing more than my sex and my color. I show up for everybody. I have shown up in LA. I have shown up in Minneapolis. I have shown up in Chicago, as well as in DC.
I want to pause it right there. And I want to talk a minute to y'all what she had just stated. I want to talk to you what she had just stated of the importance of her talking points. Number one, it's like I said, on one side of it, she is a politician. She does show up for everybody. And see, this is the reason. This is what Black people are going to have to understand and going to have to get in grips of, yeah, she's not just going to be for one party, one group. It doesn't work that way. It hasn't worked that way in years. Now, if she was an activist, I would assume that she would be for her people. But as a politician, yeah, she has to. It's just like a judge. No favoritisms. That's what's called, no favoritism. However, your voice can be heard if you have the testicular fortitude to call her out, call her offices, leave a note, leave a message, leave an email, something simple. The problem is we're just too damn proud. Now, I'm just saying the Hispanics did everything that they could to, talk to this woman, get in touch with this woman, get in touch and get a hold of this woman. I'm sure she has talked to some white folks and some Asians, right? Because that's her job once again. But she doesn't have any ties to Black America. I don't think she has an agenda for Black America. But did you even present a plan for her? Did you even? I don't know. And Yvette Cornell, you're Yvette Cornell. I'm calling you out. You're making the situation much worse. So that's all I'm going to say on that. You're making the situation much worse is for the simple fact that you yourself did not go to her and present her with your plan. I'll look on the screen here. Your plan, ma'am. That's why ADOS hasn't been in effect as of late. But FBA has. But FBA has no plan other than to call everybody tether. You got to come to her with a plan. You got to come to her with strategy. You got to come to her with something. Other minorities have done so. And look at where it's gotten them. Most of us are so, believe it or not, are so used to being dependent on the system. Not so much these days. But I don't know if it's taking a toll, it's taking an effect, but not too many people are really relying on the system too much, and which is a good thing, which is a very good thing. But the only thing we need is infrastructure. That's what we need. You know what I mean? That's what we need is infrastructure. And so you got millions of Black folks asking, where's the infrastructure? Where's the infrastructure? Where's your infrastructure? Your infrastructure is in Carolina. Your infrastructure is in, I think it's in Atlanta, not Mississippi. Your infrastructure can be here at home. It's just your banks. Your banks are down the shitter. Your Black banks are down the shitter. Ain't nobody. It's not too many people promoting One United. Not too many people are promoting One United, and that's the bank that Killer Mike was promoting. Shouts out to Killer Mike. But yeah, Jasmine, we understand. We understand totally. We understand totally that Your job per se is for the people. But now that you're not going to have that job for very much longer, what are your plans? Can I make a suggestion? Can I make a small suggestion, Mrs. Crockett? And this is coming from me, a supporter of yours. This is coming from me. Can I make a suggestion to you? You don't want what happened to you in the past, I would say 2 weeks. Start by getting some of the tension off, or get your attention, some of your attention off of people who don't have your best interests, and start putting most of your attention, not all, but most of your attention towards Black people. So, because you already have 92%, and 92%, and most of them are women, already got your back, sis. Already got your back 110% toes down, because they expressed to you they ain't voting for nobody else. They ain't voting for Tallarico. They ain't voting for them, which is kind of a bad move. But I digress. You're just gonna endure Trump for another 3 years, and that's not gonna be looking groovy. It's not gonna be looking groovy at all, fam. But I made a suggestion. Set your sights on Black people, because we is all we got. I mean, let's look at it this way. Whites don't get, you weren't gonna get that much, attention from white folks. Hispanics, they wishy-washy. They're hard-headed. They don't learn their fucking lesson for nothing. And the fact that you allegedly offended them, I mean, you went to their nightclub and you really expressed how you felt, as saying, get your ass to the pub. They're thinking you're threatening them, and that's not the case. That wasn't the case at all. But these people don't care. So you come on this side of the aisle, the only thing you have to worry about is Black men. That's the only thing you have to worry about. Some Black, not all, but you're going to have to worry about those particular Black men who just believes in the patriarchy system. That's the only thing you have to worry about. It's the only thing you have to worry about. Final point. I'm still going to be promoting Jasmine Crockett stuff. I'm going to be coming, I said this morning, I'm going to be coming up with some ideas to really promote this thing heavy as it pertains to Jasmine Crockett, at least thinking on becoming the next president of the United States. We need that. And I think Black America needs that. I don't care what they say. Black America needs shit like that. So let's do our part. I'll do mine. We do our part as a team and promote this shit heavy. Hopefully it reaches. If there's any Texans who get this later on, anybody from Texas who get this, go ahead and promote this, bro. Put it on a short, put it whatever. Right? I am looking forward to having Jasmine state that she is going to be the next president of the United States of America. That is my claim. That is my claim, family. So hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button, and I will be seeing you next week.